It's the Christian People's Alliance. And David Mills spoke to its leader, Alan Craig, earlier.
Alan Craig, you say that God isn't a Democrat or a Republican, or you might say Labour or Tory. So why are you a leader of an explicitly Christian political party?
Well, there's a great difference between saying that you've got God on your side, and quite clearly nobody can say they've got God on their side, and saying that actually Christian values and Christianity needs to be upheld in our public life. So, as I say, in 1999, when we formed the Christian People's Alliance, it was a deliberate attempt as Christian Democrats to promote Christian values and a Christian approach in the public sphere and in our public life. And part of our purpose hasn't only been to promote our own interests, but to provoke the Christians in the major parties to act as salt and light, to impact their own parties. I would like to see the Christians speaking up as Christians. I'd like to see Christian values being promoted within there. They're not the only values. I'm not saying that's the only way of doing politics. I'm not saying that atheists and agnostics can't have good values. What I'm saying is there are universal Christian values which are being lost, and as our society becomes more secular, it becomes harsher, it becomes more materialistic, it becomes more selfish, it becomes more shopping culture, all these sort of things, and those are un-Christian or anti-Christian values. It is generated democracy. Now, there's nothing perfect about Christian history, and I'd acknowledge that in church history and so on, and we have quite major aberrations if we go back in our history, and we do our apology for that. But actually the good thing about Christianity is it is a tolerant religion. It acknowledges that you and I can differ, that actually democracy is about us accepting. You have one view, I have another, and as rational human beings who are created in the image of God, we debate it, we discuss it, and we come to a conclusion out of it. And that is the very nature of democracy. As the big parties have bought into the secular agenda, we find that freedom of speech, our ability to follow our consciences is no longer accepted as it was and has been in the past. Christianity stands for compassion, it stands for caring for the underdog, it stands for those who are vulnerable and those on the margins of society. Well, that's the opposite of the sort of selfish, materialistic society we're seeing promoted at the moment, because I think actually Christians can and ought to have something to say to the public life which is of benefit to everybody. Ken Livingstone, as you know, was a self-proclaimed atheist, and one of those that would be arguing for the secularization of our political life, and that take religion out of our politics. Actually, himself deep down is chasing a religious vote, and apparently he's got the religious vote, and he claims to have the organisations and the leaders that represent all the Muslims across the whole of London. That's what he's claiming. At some level, I'm delighted. I think it's a bit of a mistake for the Muslim community to tie themselves to the Labour Party and to Ken Livingstone. In the short run, it looks like a coup. In the long run, I think it'll be quite dangerous for them. But nonetheless, now it's coming out of the woodwork, religion is important. I've been saying for a long time, personally, that religion is important in our public life. Muslims have a view. Some of the things that Muslims say I will agree with, and some I will disagree with. But they have a view, and they come out quite openly and saying our religion motivates our politics, and we're now in London's political life. And Ken has welcomed them into it. So now let's all agree that religion is important in public life, and now let's get on with the debate about the issues.
Alan Craig, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.